Hello everyone and welcome to DB Designs and Sewing Australia. I'm Deb. Thank you to all those people who subscribed last week after my first video, and I'm back here to join you again. Today I'm wearing the Ginger Jeans by Closet Core Patterns in a stretch denim from Spotlight Australia. Also the Trudy turtleneck, which is from Wardrobe by Me, in a black merino wool from a fabric store. The fabric store you can buy online. It's in a New Zealand store, but there is a store here in Melbourne, which I do go to. And the Marlowe sweater vest hack by True Bias in a cotton rib from Spotlight. I will attempt to insert a photo of what I'm wearing if I can work out how you do that on YouTube. My first make for the week was a new look shirt, 6407. That's this pattern here. And I made view A. So it is looking a little bit wrinkled because I did wear it to work one day this week. Now this is from a beautiful shirting fabric from Tazuti Fabrics, and it's sewed up very well, although it's much lower cut than I thought it would be, so I did wear a scarf with it to work. Now the other things I've been making this week, I have cut out 4 different items for 2 of my granddaughters. First of all, I've got the Laundry Day tea dress. These are both in size 4. One of my granddaughters is 3 and one of them is 4, and they both take size 4 at the moment. So this is in a lovely cotton jersey fabric. So I've got those dresses, 2 dresses cut out and ready to go. So you can see they're in a box called Cut and Ready. I've made 2 pairs of the Wicked Knickers Whitney undies, and if anybody ever makes little girls undies, this is a great pattern. They're very nicely fitting and they're firm but not tight, so when they're on play equipment you cannot see up the legs of their undies. We've got 2 pairs of those that I've completed. I do put labels on them, and that label says Made with Love by Nanny. The 4-year-old, when I was first making her undies, I didn't put labels or tags on them, and then my daughter says she keeps on putting them on back to front because they don't have a label and she doesn't know, so I started to put labels on them. I also sometimes put sew a little charm on them. I'll show you my jar of charms shortly. I've also made 2 scrunchies. So when I make a scrunchie, I'm also adding another band to it because their hair is quite fine and the scrunchies just slide off their hair. If I've got an elastic, which I just add onto it, and I think these elastics just came from Kmart in a box with about 16 or 20 in it. So if you have that on it, they can put that on their hair and then just wrap the scrunchie around their hair. So that's hidden under it and it just looks like a normal scrunchie, but it stays in their hair much better with the extra elastic in it. What I also make for the 2 girls is, last Christmas I bought them 18-inch dolls, and I've been making, when I make them dresses, I've been making dolls dresses that match their dresses. So this is a dolls dress pattern from Love Notions as well. And so here's part of the pattern for these little tiny dresses. So this is just a little tiny dress and it matches their dress. And so they dress their dolls in this dress when they wear their own. This is my jar of charms, which my granddaughters absolutely love going through. And in fact, my grandson does too, always looking for things that they can have sewn onto their clothing. So I think I just buy these randomly off eBay, and there's like little flowers, and some of them have got a little flower and a big flower that matches. And so sometimes I'll put the bigger flower on the front neck of the dress and the little flower on the front of the undies for them. That absolutely thrills them to bits to get a lucky charm. The next thing I've cut out and have ready to sew is the Issy Kids Knit Dress. I've never made this before, and This is a style arc pattern. And what I was going to make was just a plain dress, which is this one here, but the short sleeve version. I'm sure it's the short sleeve version that I... Oh, no, it's not. It's the long sleeve version. So I've cut this out. I traced the pattern off onto tracing paper and cut this out, and it's in like a sage coloured rib, and rib's all the rage at the moment. So I'm very interested to see how that works out, because I've not used this pattern before, and I usually make all the children's clothes in patterns that are basically tried and true for them, although it doesn't take very much fabric to make smaller items of clothing. The next thing I've cut out is for my brand new granddaughter, who is 1 month old, I think. And this is the little geranium dress. This has been around for a lot of years, because I can remember making them for children that are at least 6 years old now. And this is a made by Ray pattern, and in the tiniest size, which is the newborn, so 0 to 3 months. Still be way too big for my granddaughter, but this is a lovely pattern. And so I've chosen, and you can see how small it is. Like that's the top yoke, and it's just tiny. It's lovely. And I always line these dresses in just a very fine cotton lawn, and so it just gives a really nice inside. And it's just a basic little dress. I don't put the pockets on it. I didn't really want anything with pockets on it on a brand new baby. And the other thing I've got to cut out for that same granddaughter is a nappy cover. They call it a diaper cover. But it's in this black and white check, and I've made some black bias tape, and it actually looks really, really nice just with a white t-shirt in summer. Now this pattern comes from Dana Made It. I'm not sure if this was a free pattern or if I actually purchased it, because I've had it for years and years, and I've made so many pairs of these. I often make matching ones for the dresses for the little girls. So I've got that on the go as well. And I've also got some bibs cut. And so this is just a pattern I use. I'm not even sure. And so I think it's called a bandana bib. I haven't got it written on it. And I use a piece of flannelette on the inside because I'm making them double-sided. So one side is, it's going to be as big as her, I think, is this Australiana fabric. These are quilting cottons that I actually bought when I was in Tasmania. And this is another Australiana. So coordinating fabrics to make a double-sided bib with a piece of flannelette being on the inside of it. And the other bib I'm making matches the geranium dress that I'm making, and also a Peter Rabbit, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle fabric. These ones, that is also a quilting fabric, but they actually make a nice bib. Bibs don't have to stretch or have any give in them. So that's what I'm making for the littlest one. And as we can see, that's cut and ready as well. The next thing I'm making is a size 2 t-shirt for one of my grandsons. Looks like I've got a bit of an Australiana theme going on, because this is an organic cotton jersey, and it's actually a really lovely fabric, and it's very, very cute. So I'm making a t-shirt, t-shirts that I've made before, which is the Mini Rio Ringer t-shirt. Oh, it's a True Bias t-shirt. And I've actually made this I think in a size 5 for my 7-year-old grandson. I probably need to size up for him, probably in length but not in width, because he's fairly much on the thin side, but can always make it just longer for him. So I haven't cut anything out of his yet, but this is for my 2-year-old grandson. Actually, he's not 2, he's 18 months, but by the time he gets it, he will be nearly 2. So that's cut and ready also. The other things I've got that are waiting for cutting is, oops, shines, this new look pattern, and you get a baby's dress, like a baby's overalls, and also a little jacket, so like a collarless jacket. This is all for woven fabric, because I thought maybe the jacket was for a knit, but it's not. It's all for chambray, cotton, gingham, cord, seersucker. So it's all for a woven type of fabric. The fabric I've got for this is this really lovely double gauze. Now I know it's for a girl, but apparently they don't want everything to be pink. So I've got some of this fabric left over from a different project that I made. So I'm going to make probably the overalls in it. But I have ordered some stud tape, and then I was going to dye the tape as I needed it so it actually matches the fabric that I'm going to put it in, just so that you can unstud the legs to change a nappy rather than have to take it down from the shoulders all the time, which can be a bit of a hassle. So that's ready to cut out. And even though I'd make size newborn, I suspect that that would not fit my granddaughter until February or March next year, because she really is quite small. The other thing I've got ready to go, and I don't really know if I'm going to make it or if it's too similar, is this overall with the cute little tie sides on it. I have made this before. I can see that I've cut it out before. Can't remember who I made it for. One of my grandchildren or one of my sister's grandchildren. And I've actually got this really beautiful sage coloured double gauze. So I'm not sure if I will make this or if I will keep it for next year. The smallest this pattern goes to is 6 months, which means that my granddaughter that's just been born, she'll be nearly 12 months old before she's that size. So that's something I'm thinking about, but I have not cut it out yet because I'm really not sure. Here's another set of overalls, and I was thinking that there's also another thing that I was waiting for the stud tape for, because as you can see on this pattern, on the insides of the legs, they've got studs all the way around so you can change their nappy easily. I've got a nice piece of denim for this, but I was also thinking that I'd put some sort of pattern, some sort of nice trim. I can see that on the outside, this pink trim here is the same as what they've lined it with on the inside. Well, I've got so many different things and pieces of lace and pieces of trim. That's also another pattern that I'm thinking about, but I haven't cut it out yet. That's something else I'm thinking about doing. And so they're still all in my awaiting cutting boxes. That's awaiting cutting also. The other thing I've got in my awaiting cutting box, one of my awaiting cutting boxes, is this pair of Berta shorts for my grandson that's 7. And I was going to do that in this olive linen, make him a nice pair of shorts. I will need to measure his waist, because I'm probably only going to make him size 4, but a little bit longer in the body. and the legs, but probably only to size 5. It's really quite little. So I asked him what, because the girls are always getting things, and I asked him what he wanted, and he said he wanted shorts, even if it's the middle of winter in Melbourne. He still wants shorts. I also purchased another shorts pattern for him, which is more like, he wanted some these are called Bondi Kids Boardy shorts. So he said that he liked this pattern, so I'll find something that I can make, which is probably not the linen, because that's not a very good look, but I'll find something for him to make him that pair of shorts as well. And this pattern is called the Baggy Tee. It doesn't say who it's by. Oh. This pattern is the Baggy Tee, and it's by Lowland Kids. Now, I only just discovered Lowland Kids sewing patterns a few months ago, and I've bought several of them since. And I'll let you know how they work out. They've got a lot of hoodies, a lot of jackets, a lot of really nice things. I also bought this fabric for my 7-year-old grandson. Now, this is quilting fabric, so I have no idea what I'm going to make him out of it. And he has an obsession with caravans and camping and all that sort of thing. And this fabric is just gorgeous. And a coordinating fabric to go with it, so I can make him something that's double-sided, is some more Australian animals. So we can see a Tassie devil, a dingo, wombats, a few different things. So if anyone's got any ideas about what you could make a 7-year-old boy who's got every library bag and every other sort of bag you could imagine, let me know. I've also cut out this week my Nova coat. If you watched last week's, remember that I was making the two-tone Nova coat. Half in the raspberry colour. It's got fluff on it already. That's not a good sign. And half in the petrol colour. So I've cut these out. I've interfaced all the pieces. It is a pattern that I am going to have to follow the instructions for and not just make it up as I go along, because seriously, some of it just looks so unusual in the way it goes together and the way those pockets are created where the two colours meet in the front. I also cut out a lining for it, and I just used some lining out of my stash. I always have quite a bit of different type of lining, so I'll start on that this week. Might be a slower project, not as slow as some other projects, but still slower. So the way I organise what I'm doing is I have awaiting cutting boxes, and then I have cut and ready to sew boxes. I also have another box, and it's called special projects. So that's something that's going to take quite a long time. I'm making it up as I go along. There is no pattern to follow. So I probably change my mind part of the way through. And for this special project at the moment, I am attempting to replicate this over-dyed denim coat. So I have got an old denim jacket that I've taken the sleeves off because it's way too big, readjusting the whole thing of that, saving any of the buttons and buttonholes I can so they can be re-sewed onto the lower part of the jacket, and finding any other pieces of denim. I had intended to make other pieces that sew onto it, and then I will over dye the whole piece in purple. So I've also got this silk that I will make some parts or some trims of it in the silk, because that's going to over dye to a completely different color. So I've got a fair few different color denims. Like this is the denim color of the actual jacket, And I've got this colored denim. I think they're from, yes, they are from the Ginger Jeans. And I've got this colored denim, which is from another pair of jeans that is a non-stretch denim. So I've got stretch denim, non-stretch denim. I've saved all the bands with buttons and buttons holes on them so I can reapply them to different places, take them apart, re-sew them on, all that type of thing. So it's something that I've had in the pipework for probably, a good 8 months, I would think. And I'm really only up to pulling the denim jacket apart. Who knew how hard it was to pull the denim jacket apart? At times I have been tempted to think I'll just use scissors and cut this apart because it's so big, but I haven't. I have painstakingly pulled most of it apart, unpicked it and pulled it apart. I've even got an old pair of jeans that I don't wear anymore that I was going to use for it as well. There's some of the time you might want to use things like those back pockets. So I might cut it so that the pockets are actually on the back of the coat down near the bum, which is where you'd want them to be. Yeah, so just looking at different types of denim because it's all going to dye a slightly different color and be a slightly different look, and that's exactly what I was looking for. That's just my creative outlet. That's just how I like to create things. I actually like things that are a bit way out, but I wear a work uniform to work, so I don't get the opportunity to wear them very often. But once you see my coat collection, you'll know that some of the stuff I've got is very unusual, some people would call it, but I like it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my video this week. When I come back next time, hopefully I will have completed all the girls' dresses and the dolls' dresses. I actually don't have a doll to show you, but it is a really, really cute doll's dress, and the girls get such a thrill out of having a doll's dress that matches their dress. It's a really, really great, fun thing to do for them. So, and hopefully I'll get some time and start on my coat. And I need to take the coat slowly. The dresses are a very fast sew up. I've already got white thread on my overlocker, and I mainly just overlock that whole thing. I've already got blue thread over there on my cover stitch machine, so the girls' dresses will come together pretty quickly. And I might show you my progress bit by bit with an overcoat, especially how to do those front pockets. I just assumed that pressing is going to be a really big deal about it. And when I press woolen items, I'm always using this and this. And then when it's heated, use that as the clapper. So it makes a really big difference. I love this. Any sort of collar, anything. Even though I've got collar point turners and everything else, you can actually lie this on there, because even though a collar gets pressed together, when it's only stitched, I always press it open and then press it together. So I press it open first, so I press the seam open, and then I press the seam together to make it lie flat. And it lies much flatter if you press those seams open first. I don't know why, it doesn't even really make sense, but that is the way it is. And I read that, or I watched someone's video where they told me that. Maybe it was Anika. Might have been Anika that told everyone to press it open and then press it flat, and it worked a treat. And it's the same way I do French seams. So if I do, I've actually been doing a lot of French seams lately. So when I do French seams, I always do the first stitch line, press it open, then press it closed, and do the second stitch line. And it just makes just a much nicer finish and a much better press. So the second row looks much more pressed than it would if you didn't press those seams open for the first one. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.